Hey guys, it's Jeff. Good morning. It is the August 1st, I believe, and we made it through July, so very cool. All right, so let's kind of talk about the breadth of the market. We're actually at the investors.com website. Hopefully by now you have an account. All we're going to do is click on the big picture. And just so you know, I pay about $27 a month for the paper and access to this website. And right now we can see that the current outlook is uptrend under pressure. So that means be a little more leery of putting your money to work but we've been in an up and down kind of sideways pattern for a long time. So kind of talks about some breakouts and some opportunities. And some breakdowns of what happened. We've got more earnings next week, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at the indices, in particular the SPYs. You can see that the SPYs rebounded off their lows, and so if you have your stockcharts.com website set up, then I'm going to do a Bollinger Band webinar, and I'm going to put it on the online university, how to set up your Bollinger Bands and how to read them. But you can see that if I have this check marked up here at the top, inspect, I can actually, that's why this cursor, it shows me more price action. You can see we really touched down at kind of support, and let's see how let's take the bands off and see where we ended up. So we're kind of approaching the 200-day moving average and kind of went right back up. And again, in this kind of the sideways pattern now, but we're above the 8 and 21 day now. We're also above the 10-day moving average, what the IBD uses, and so obviously more bullish now, right? So something to think about. Looks like the MACD is crossing over as well. So again, this is in the online university on how to read the charts, but looks good. So let's look at the Russell, the small caps, IWM. And bounced right off the bands, reclaiming the 10-day. The 50-day moving average is all the way up here, so we're trying to get to that. Let's see if we take the Bollinger Bands off. Okay, you can see that we touched down to the 200-day moving average, bounced right back off of it. So again, you guys know this, we're in a sideways type of pattern here. Okay, the Qs, the NASDAQ. Okay, it looks a little bit better above the 10-day moving average. And let's look at the on the MarketSmith website. Pull up the SPYs. All right, again, right above the 50-day moving average for the SPYs, pretty much bounced off the 200-day moving average. So you can kind of see. But it's kind of just been in a sideways pattern, bouncing up and down and all around. So let's look at the Qs. Okay. All right. So let's talk about some trades and what to look for. What we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the paper, see what opportunities look decent. Okay, so we're going to flip through the paper. This is how I do it. There's different ways of getting there. Now the IBD lists the 50 most growth-oriented and sales-oriented stocks. That's really what we're looking for. We're looking for opportunities to get in at the right time, choose our options, and out a few months and kind of ride the trend. If you're a shorter term investor, you want to do the 50-cent trade, lock in the little gain, you can certainly do that. I'll show you a couple trades that I'm in. So let's click on Umbrella. Umbrella says nice bounce of the 10-week moving average. We'll look to see what that looks like on AMBA. Okay, so you can see, seeing if it finds support on the 10-day moving average. I have played this last week. AMBA looks like a little more downside follow through to me, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We will also pull it up on this chart, AMBA. See what this looks like. Okay, we'll see what happens, if it can find support around here. Still a decent looking stock, but I would wait for a better entry on that one. Let's keep on going. Consolidating, PAYC, testing support around 30. Now, PAYC looks interesting. It really fell apart last week, but it found support, I believe, on the 200-day. See how we had institutional buying right here with the blue line, with a volume spike right here. So this would be an opportunity to take a closer look at PAYC. We'd again have to look at the options, and that class that I put together goes through that. But PAYC looks like a decent opportunity, one definitely to put on your watch list. I'll show you what CyberArk looks like. CyberArk, the 50-day moving average acted as resistance, and it bounced right back down again. So that's not a good sign. I would hold on to definitely a better entry on CyberArk. Gray TV is a really interesting one. The time to get into Gray TV was a couple days ago when it found support at the 50-day moving average, and it bounced right off of it in decent volume, and it reclaimed the buying zone for GTN. I do believe that GTN's earnings are next week. Another cool way to look at this too is if you go to the stock checkup, type in GTN. It gives you a checkup. It's first in this group, first in this group, third in this group, first in this group. So, the more, you're trying to find the leaders, right? The sector leaders. Hopefully you read that book. Again, that's on the online university. That's one of the free videos. So I'd really recommend How to Make Money in Stocks, that book by Bill O'Neill. And GTN looks like a good opportunity. But again, the time to buy it was when it looked like it was falling apart, right? When the market looked like it was tanking. Just got to look at the where support might be. And what we would do is we would buy it around in here and put the stop right underneath one of the moving averages, which is around 1591. So we would do a contingency order with the option based on what the price does. If the price falls below and hits 1586 or so forth, then we're out. So we don't hold on to a losing position. We get out if it's not right. And then what we would do is what I would do if I was in this trade right now, I'd move my stop around 1652 right underneath the 10-day moving average. Okay? You can see the same thing on stockcharts.com, but I'm just using this because it's a little cleaner. EPAM, I believe EPAM, it says rides 10-week top of buy range of 70.59. So let's look what EPAM looks like. I believe this was on my watch list as well. Yeah, this is an interesting spot right now. Again, earnings is 8.4. You never take a stock or even options into earnings unless you have a built-in profit. Now, if we bought it down here, right, at the pivot down here, then that would have been a good spot to buy it to possibly take it into earnings. We'll see what happens after earnings, but this is definitely one to look at. Again, heavier volume on the Friday. Looks like it. If I was to buy this one, let's take a look and see what the. I'm not going to do that right now. The options look like, but I would definitely take a look at the options and what they look like a few months out, and see if this could be an opportunity to make to ride the trend. Okay, ANET. I am in this one. It says a buy area of 88.66. Right now the price is 84.47. Let's look at ANET. Unfortunately, ANET's earnings are next week. My decision is to figure out if I want to ride this into earnings or sell half of my position and let the other half ride. Again, my stop is right at the 10-day moving average around 83.43. It did have kind of a volatile day on Friday. We'll see how this acts on this coming week into earnings. Very close to the buy area. But what I did was I bought it down near the 50-day moving average with a stop right below the 50-day moving average, 79.74. And I'm basically riding the trend. Got a built-in profit into it, and we'll see what happens. ALK nearly extended 6% from a 71.50 buy point. I am in this one as well. ALK. This is just riding the 10-day moving average with a stop right below, I believe, Thursday's low, around 74.29. So if it hits, what that means, if it hits 74.29, then I will get out. And I've got my son here. Hold on one second. There you go. And we'll keep on going. So hopefully this is useful. So this is pretty much my daily routine or my nightly routine of what I do, what I look for. Look for opportunities that are breaking out. I obviously look at the market as well and to see if they look good. So hopefully that gives you a few to take a look at. We'll kind of flip through some of them. But some of the ones that are in the paper aren't going to be good for options. So again, that's in the class. Hold on one second, guys. There you go. AGN is an interesting spot right now. I'll show you AGN. Okay, so AGN's finding support at the 10-day moving average. The time to buy it when everybody was thinking it was going to go out to the roof. We'll look at was at the 50-day moving average. We'll take a look at stock charts as well. Pull it up on stock charts. AGN. Yep, AGN, as you can see, the RSI, another indicator that we look at, was touching the lows. When it's touching the lows down near 30, it's oversold. And look what happened. It was totally oversold. And look at the bounce it made. What happened was they actually bought a company, I think it was Tiva, and it bounced right up. Now it's a little overbought, so it's it bounced off that and seeing if the mid area will hold. Which would be the 10-day moving average, but that's a good way of using the indicator. So if the RSI is distorted towards the low, what will happen is it'll bounce. If it's towards the high, it'll come down a little bit. Okay, as you can see right there. Let's see here. We'll go through a few other ones. And if you do want to take a look at what AGN looks like before you invest, put your money to work. You can type in AGN, see what that looks like. Number 1 in this group, number 4 in this group, 8 in this group, 3 in this group, 1st in this group. Obviously a good opportunity, right? And AGN's options, I have played those before. Let's keep going. So you can see on this one right here, I just want to make a reference to this TSS. It gave the buy point at 39.35, and let's kind of look at TSS. And typically in the book it says to take profits around 20%. So TSS. Okay, found support at the 10-day moving average. Huge volume spike. This is probably earnings. Came back, consolidating a little bit. Could be another entry into TSS. Okay, if you wanted to get into TSS, providing that the options look good. Anybody can trade the stock, but if the options look good for the leverage, again, anywhere from 3 to 6 months out, I would recommend for the trend trading options. let's see, CNC forming potential base, but still below the 10-week moving average. We'll move on. I got to do this anyway, so I might as well just do it with you over the on the recording. Regeneron 544 entry, never past 5% buy zone. Monster still, I mean, Monster had a buy zone at 139.75. You can see if you really take advantage of the paper and you just kind of stay true and put your stops in there, it gave a buy point of right around here, say 140. And what did it do? Moved right up. Consolidated for, it looks like a week or two. Never touching the 10-day moving average. You could have put your stop right underneath the 10-day moving average. And you could even put your stop on this area here. And it's just riding the trend right now. Again, if you're in this one, I would put your stop around roughly 151.92. You've got a really nice profit built into that trade. Earnings are coming out on 8/4. You can see where I'm looking at earnings down on the bottom right-hand side. So something to consider. If you, I would wait after if you're not in right now to take a look at it. Yes, you do risk the gap up on earnings, but you also take the risk off providing a gap down on earnings because you don't know how Wall Street's going to react to it. So, okay, let's keep it on. LCI consolidating around the 10-week line after a failed breakout. I am in this one, so let's take a look at this one. LCI. Okay, so when I bought it was right at the 200-day moving average. For a quick, actually, I think I bought it at the 50-day moving average. But the time to buy it was at the 200-day moving average when it pretty much was falling apart, and everybody was like, "Oh gosh, let's get out of LCI." What did the institutions do? They picked it up. So when you see the bigger volume than normal, that means institutions are stepping in. Now, obviously, stepping in on the downside or on the upside. So in this case, on the upside, reclaiming the 50-day moving average, which is the red line, moving up. So I'm moving my stop up every single day, watching LCI. That way, I already have a built-in profit to it. I don't lose my profit. I don't lose my money. And if it does keep on going up, I keep on stair-stepping my stop where I'd sell it. Okay, but I'm locking in those gains as well. And let's look at LCI on the other chart on the Bollinger Bands. Okay. So you can see here the RSI was at the low. And what did it do? Again, when everybody's thing was falling apart, it was at the 200-day moving average. And it just climbed right back up. Okay, we'll see what happens. It says a buy point at 37.70, so this would be a one on your radar. Again, looking at the options to make sure they look good. Starbucks, I know Randy's in Starbucks. Congratulations, Randy. Here's one here, a 144 buy point. This would be one to look at as well. This is a really interesting spot here for Illumina. I've been looking at this one for the last couple of days. It's finding support at the 50-day moving average. So obviously a good time to get in. Providing the options look good. It's a little more expensive stock. We'll see what this looks like. Yeah, it's really at an interesting spot right now. So I mean, if I was going to play this one, I would buy maybe 3 months out options on this one, and I'd put my stop loss right around 216. So if it does collapse, I'm out of it. But it's at a really good risk/return area. So this one had a gap down on earnings, but this one could start moving up as well. So I mean, I would just kind of be locking in my gains on the stair-stepping it way up. You can see this had a beautiful trend. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, just kind of, you put our stop loss out a little bit right here. You might have been stopped out here, but if you got back, that's the thing. I mean, you would have been able to save all this profit right here, this good area right here. Okay, Ross Stores. This is another one that should be on your radar, Rost. with the potential buy point of 53.60, providing the options look good. Again, if you want to buy stock, it's easy. Facebook, I did play Facebook last week, made a little bit of money, lost a little bit of money. Extended 9% but I told you to buy it at 86.17. So we'll see how Facebook just had earnings on Wednesday. Pizza. Okay, Jazz Pharmaceuticals is 1% buy range. I'm not a big fan. I don't know how they earn. I don't really watch that one, so I don't know how that's going to react. I know earnings are, I think, next week. I have been watching TMH, I think. Let's see here. Let's look at TMH. Okay, TMH has earnings next week. Had a great day on Friday with huge volume. So that'd be definitely one to watch. But see again, it, bounce right off the 10-day moving average. We'll see how that one, if it can hold that 67.80, say. See if it can hold this area right here. If it holds it, it looks fantastic. Again, looking at seeing if the options make sense would be another thing. So see, some of these stocks that are in here are terrible for options, but some of them are good. So you just got to know what to look for. Could you imagine, like, saying Foot Locker? I would never have thought about playing Foot Locker, but let's look at the chart of Foot Locker. I'll give you one other one too. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Look at that ride. Or let me give you another one that you would never have guessed. Skechers. The shoe. Who would have known? Look at this. It's unbelievable. And obviously, I think Skechers is a good option. I believe so. I don't take my word on that. Cal-Maine is also another one that's on my radar. Seeing how it holds the 50-day moving average. Again, it's in an interesting spot. So if it goes if I were to buy it, my stop would be around 53.50, because if it falls apart, I'm not going to lose my whole trade down to here. But if this starts reclaiming and starts stepping up, it's had a really nice move here. So I'm assuming it can do it again. Nike. Okay, this one hit the 20%. And earnings are on that one next week. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm going through the paper and looking for potential. This is what we just did, and I am reading the paper too when I get a chance. And also look at the sector leaders. So if we look at the sector leaders real quick, going to be a lot of them ones that you see that we just took a look at. Okay, Gilead's at an interesting spot as well. I know Randy's in this one, or was. Maybe he still is. I think we bought some on Friday. Again, our stop would be right underneath this area here. See if it can hold. If it can hold the 50-day moving average. It's a really, really interesting spot. So again, the paper tells us to buy it up here. We're trying to get in early off a bounce off one of the moving averages. All right, so I'm going to call it a wrap right now. So I think I gave you a lot of value on this video, kind of looking at the weekend and what I'm going to look at for the coming week trades. I'm managing my trades, increasing my stop loss. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. Move on to the next opportunity. It's not a big deal. When you trade a system, it's easy, right? You take the emotion out of it. So anyway, I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.